then I remember hearing my brothers shouting about sea pigs. I was like, what's a sea pig? And they wouldn't let me come. They said, you're too small. But they all went running out of the house and they said they could hear them. So I'm wondering where Mhongáin was. I was thinking, was it seals? But you wouldn't hear a seal as it swam. Maybe it was the grandparents of the now Shannon and bottlenose dolphins that they saw and they heard them blow. So yeah, I spent a lot of my early childhood trying to visualise a seal with a pig's face, trying to figure out what a sea pig was. Lacking a bit of focus, so I started just researching stuff I was interested online, and I came across Gemma O'Connor's video about the common dolphin stranding. So I watched it and I was like, God, you know, it's only 3 years ago there was 3 of them dead down the beach there together. At the time when I saw them, I used to ring a few friends that were in the area and I was like, there's a whale here, there's a dolphin there. And leave it at that, and you know, they'd tell me things to look out for. They were like, you know, was there scratches on it, was their teeth broken, how was their beak? But they left when the project's finished, so I got in contact with Mick and I became a member, and then I did nothing again about it for a year. I hadn't officially joined the Stranding network, and then there was one day I got a phone call and there was a lady saying there's 7 dolphins stranded in Carter, they're alive. I was like, oh Jesus. So normally you had a group of friends that you'd ring, but they had all moved away. And there was 3 other guys I was going to ring. One was at sea, another guy was at sea here, and another guy couldn't lift anything anymore. So I was standing there and I just said, oh crap, like I'm it. I'm their only chance right now. So I started ringing who I could get, and people came. Because when I actually started counting, there was 13. And they were so far apart that it was like, okay, there's gulls here. If I'm over here and that one's 700 metres over there, they're going to get their eyes picked out. So I rang Parks and Wildlife that day, and they actually rang the Coast Guard. So when the Coast Guard came, I gave them a job. I said, just be near them and keep the gulls away. And then I got help rolling a couple of the big ones over because they were on their sides. And after that, then I started contacting Irish Whale and Dolphin, Chabelle, and I was like, we need a stranding course up here, because you know there was so many that day, and it was like, what do you do? What's the right thing to do to help them? So then the stranding courses actually started getting organised. They were probably being organised every year anyway, but I was off the radar. And then I started following them on Facebook, and I started getting active and started getting involved. And then within a few months, there was a few more strandings. So it just took off from there. And every time you go to one, you learn something new. I found myself struggling in school for the first 4 years, we'll say. But then when I went into a different classroom, I really got into nature studies, and the books were just there in the library, and I'd be saying to the teacher, can we please do some nature studies? And no, not today. And then if we had to write an essay, I'd write about nature. So the school report was very interested in nature, needs to work on maths. So there was a lot of that. But no, it wasn't nurtured in school. You know, I'm 43 now, so school was a different beast back then. My 3rd level education didn't go as planned. It was supposed to be marine biology in NUIG, but I didn't get the points. I was gutted, I think, for about 3 or 4 weeks. Longer, because I nearly went back to it again at 27, but I ended up doing software engineering. I love the fact that, you know, there are a bunch of people with their masters and their PhDs, But there's so many other people that are welcome in the group and contributing so much that you actually don't have to have gone the marine biology route to be a part of it. You just, you know, love what it is. And the information and your sightings, you know, that's all going into a database for the greater good, that we can see what's off our coast, that everybody's welcome. So that's what I love about it. You know, I'm having an influence now in an area that I thought I'd never be able to get into because I didn't go that route. And you feel so much appreciation as well from the group, from everybody. That, especially me, like I just have all these ideas that are flying around in my head and I get listened to. Some of the ideas aren't good, but others work, like the wheels on the stretcher. I'm Gemma. I'm an Irish whale and dolphin live stranding responder. I'm based on the northwest coast of Mayo on the peninsula. Behind me you'll see our new dolphin stretcher. How that came about was Simon came up doing one of his surveys and he brought me one of his basket stretchers. And I was like, this is great. You know, it was 7 foot, so you get a common in there. And the commons being their name are the ones that most commonly strand. And then I was thinking like, geez, the weight of a common is still quite heavy for me. And I was thinking, how could I move it with the least amount of people? Because you could find yourself like just 2 people over there helping out. So how do you get it like the 500 to a kilometre back to the water? So I was thinking about it. I remember Dad used to always make trolleys for his curragh. And I said, if I could get dinghy wheels. And I was playing about the idea and somehow I mentioned it to Simon. And then Simon ran the fundraiser and the funds were there. And then I found a company that make trolleys for jet skis and for sailing boats. So we ended up with 2. So I got, the original idea was the axle and the wheels onto Simon's stretcher and the other stretcher went to North Kerry. I know with Dad, he loved the sea, he loved being out fishing pollock and mackerel. That was his thing to do on a Sunday. And he built his own curraghs. And he lobster fished for, I think it was only about 3 or 4 years. 3 years he was lobster fishing. And you know, we'd love eating lobster. And the smell of it, our crab's claws when it was cooking. But I came home from Limerick one weekend and Dad had to stop lobster fishing when I was 10. He got a heart attack. So, you know, it was a curragh pulling boats, so that was too much exertion for him. But people would give him lobsters or he'd buy a lobster and I came into the house and the smell, it was cooking, I was delighted. And then he hands me a bag. He said, "You take that back to the pier and put it in and don't let them see you. I don't let anybody see you," because he was a nice man. He didn't want to offend anybody. I said, "What is it?" And it was lobster. I said, "What's wrong with this one?" And his face, it just said it all. He's like, "She's full of eggs." You know? So he was in his 60s then. And I did it. I put it back in as quick as I could. But it's like he was able to say, you know, that wasn't sustainable. Why would you bring in a lobster full of eggs? That's your livelihood.